They say the most dangerous attachments are not the ones we choose, but the ones chosen for us. That the strongest chains are not forged in hate, but woven from love, twisted into possession. They promise you a future. They never tell you what or who must be sacrificed to keep it. This is not a ghost story. This is a story of a love turned into a prayer that curdled into a curse. Gather close. This is the Dread Codex, and our tale begins in a place where the air smelled like heaven and the soul tasted like salt. My name is Ryan, and I do not trust the smell of molasses. In the fall of 2013, I lived in Calvary Crossing, Kansas. My family ran a bakery called Heaven's Hearth, famous for its pies. The air inside was warm, sweet, holy. But my cousin Trevor, he fell in love with the wrong girl. Alara Vance. Her family prayed under an old oak tree on their land. To my family, that wasn't faith. It was a corruption. So my grandfather visited a man named Ezekiel Croft, a binder. A man who knew the old prayers, the kind spoken backward. Croft gave him a burlap pouch filled with gray salt from a dry lake bed. "Feed it to him," Croft said. "For 40 days. It will clarify his affections." They called Trevor home, said his mother was sick, and for 40 days they fed him the salt. He changed, not all at once, slowly, like frost creeping over a window. The light in his eyes for Alara dimmed, then died. He started calling her that girl, started counting every dollar he ever spent on her, every mile, every minute. "They were draining me," he'd whisper, staring at his ledger. "She was a siphon. We thought we had saved him. We hadn't. We had replaced his love with a hunger." He went to confront Alara's father at the witness oak. Came back colder than stone. A week later, during the Harvest Sanctification Revival, he slipped out into the dark, and he never came back. They found him at dawn in a fallow field behind the old school, his limbs broken into terrible angles, his mouth stained with molasses, bitterweed, and soil, a ledger page pinned to his chest with a hawthorn thorn. They called it a suicide. The coroner called it murder. And then the thirst began. The night he was buried, 2 cousins drove past the school. They heard his voice from the dark. "Help me. I'm so thirsty. Please, water in our house." We left a plate of food in his locked room for 9 nights. On the 4th night, we heard chewing. In the morning, the plate was clean. The door still locked. Then the whispers came through the vents. A dry, grating sound, like salt pouring. "You fed me, now I'm hungry. You bound me, now I am bound here." My mother saw a figure in the garden at twilight. Tall, thin. Where it stood, her roses withered to husks in seconds. We called the pastor. He prayed. That night, something ran across our roof on all fours, searching for a way down the chimney. My grandfather went back to Croft. Croft came. He walked the house, face grim. "You didn't just call your boy back," he whispered. "You invited a principality of thirst into him. It's not his soul. It's the thing you fed, the salt hunger, the debt collector. And it believes it's doing holy work." Croft performed a binding. For a month, there was peace. Then a boy playing near Trevor's grave put a soda can on the headstone. He collapsed. His body twisted into those same broken angles. He started writhing, gasping, "Water, the salt burns, the debt is not paid." We knelt beside him. The boy's head snapped toward us, too fast. The voice that came out was Trevor's and something else. They asked for directions by the school, their hands stained with earth and syrup. They said the debt was owed to the land. They said the tree was witness. It wasn't the Vances who killed him. It was the land itself. Judge, jury, executioner. Croft placed an iron amulet on the boy. He woke up sobbing, remembering nothing. We sold the bakery. I left Calvary Crossing. I thought it was over. Last week, I moved into my first apartment in Topeka. Clean, modern, no history. While unpacking, I found it at the bottom of a box, wrapped in my grandfather's old apron. The burlap pouch, empty but damp inside, gritty. That night, the central air shut off. Not the power, just the air. And from the vents, a smell seeped out. Molasses, pie crust, and beneath it, the sharp reek of a dry lake bed. Then, drip, drip, drip from the dark corner of my room, a voice, woven from my grandfather's last gasp and Trevor's final whisper. "The account remains open, brother. You inherited the hunger. You are the new keeper of the debt. And we are always collecting." This is the story of Heaven's Hearth Bakery. It is not a ghost story. It is a spiritual transaction. The deepest evil does not always rage against the light. Sometimes it uses the language of light, salvation, correction, love to enact a deeper dark. So listen closely. If you are ever offered a love that requires the breaking of another, if you try to change a heart not with grace, but with grit and salt, if you feel the parched, relentless gaze of something that sees your soul as a ledger, repent. Some families are haunted not by those they lost, but by the terrible prices they paid to keep them. If you have a story that haunts you, send it to contact.thedreadcodex@gmail.com. Your truth becomes our tale. Until next time, may your path be lit. May your love be a gift, never a debt. Good night.